Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Race Showcases video. And today, I'd like to say, for myself, I'm a pretty okay driver. In Cup, in the multi-class series, I pretty much won the whole thing. Nearly did anyways. Manufacturer's Cup, I did alright, and when in lobbies, I do pretty alright as well. However, this is where I go to get humbled, basically. And it's a really good thing because it shows you how quick you really are. I'm in a lobby that is full of Japanese players, pretty much exclusively Japanese players. I don't know how I got in here. Usually, if you're an Australian or just any international trying to get into these Japanese lobbies, they pretty much kick you immediately. But I was allowed to stay, which was actually quite nice. And this produced some really clean, respectful racing. And it really put me in my place and really showed me how quick I am in reality to Japanese players, which on this side of the world is kind of like how you compare yourself to European players, which I'd say Europe is definitely probably the most competitive area for Gran Turismo, but Japan is quite close, I'd say. So we're at Suzuka. I'm in the NSX. I'm really loving driving this NSX. I've used it before in the past, but it's kind of grown back on me and I'm starting to use it again. It's nowhere near as good as, say, a Huracan or an Italia, or because I've been using the R8 for a very long time. I'm trying to build my tolerance up with it, with this NSX, and I'm really enjoying it. It's like a breath of fresh air. But also, I'm doing this also to get used to driving GT3 again. Because to be honest, other than that HTR multi-class series, which for me was only Group 1, I didn't really play Gran Turismo at all. So my GT3 driving kind of gone out the window. As you'll see, as we go through Spoon, we immediately go wide, and that puts us into pressure with the cars behind. But luckily we were able to get through it, and to be honest, the rest of the Suzuka race is just trailing behind the two guys in front. And looking back at it, after the race, I was about 2/10 slower per lap than these guys, which is why these two were able to get into a fight, and we were just sitting here spectating. So, we're going to skip forward to the final lap, which is where the good part is. And I will say, these races will get better. There's 3 races I'm going to show you, and they just keep getting better and better. So, we go into the first corner here, as the Mercedes is a really good move around the Italia into the second corner. So we head up into the S's. And I'm realizing this NSX is quite planted, so I can really get on the power really easily. It's not as good in the corners as a Huracan or an Italia, and not quick in a straight line. So I've got to use the plantedness of this car to my advantage, basically. As we head up to the hill, up towards the Degnas, my weakest part of Suzuka by far. And to be honest, coming into this lobby, I wasn't expecting to get much of a result because the Japanese and Japanese tracks, they just go hand in hand. You're probably not going to beat them because they are just too good. But the fact we're able to keep in 4th place and only lost about 4 seconds to the lead, who's pretty much pissed off into the distance, I would say that's a pretty good win. So we go out the hairpin. Didn't really get on the power very well, so much for this car, for me using this car's advantage of being planted to my advantage. As we go up towards Spoon Curve, the Ferrari's going to try and move, but it invertedly goes wide at Spoon, so that gives me a chance. So I'm thinking now I'll move into the chicane. As we get up behind the Ferrari, I'm not quick enough to have an overlap of speed going into 130R, so I'm not even going to try and think about a move. Usually some people in lower lobbies would try it. If I do that right now, I'd kill both of us. And going to the chicane, to be honest, I brake a little too late. I forget I was in the toe and was going a little bit quicker. However, the Ferrari also makes a mistake and goes wide, so this is my chance here, and he just collects the car. And we finish right behind him, just off the podium in P4. So that's 4th place for us. We are the 4th of the 5 A+s, but don't let rating fool you. Everyone here is pretty damn quick. And honestly, it felt like I was doing the Manufacturer's Cup season all over again, really. But here we are at Grand Valley, Deep Forest Race, so we're in P3, so my qualifying is actually really good. I'm actually really good at qualifying, pretty close to these guys. But my problem was race pace compared to everyone else. And this is going to be evident in the in this one especially, I'd say. So P3, and we're gonna come into the brakes, into T1, and I'm already being swarmed. There's a Subaru on my left, and I think that's a Genesis pop-up behind me. So we're side by side with the Subaru here. I'm being squeezed up here, and yeah, that Subaru goes around, which is okay. It's fine. This NSX is good around the corners, so we're going to easily keep up with the Subaru ahead of us. Now, Deep Forest, for the longest time that I've known, no matter how good the car is in the corners, any car that's good in a straight line will pretty much trump you in the long run. Qualifying, yes, I'll be fine. Long run, no. Everything else will come back at you on the straights, which is really evident with high lobbies, especially. Lower rated lobbies, you don't really see it, even though they're in faster cars, they probably still won't catch you, but here where everyone is on it, yeah, the differences will be very stark. As we get on the brakes for the hairpin, go around the AMG who's stuck on the inside on the hairpin, and we're gonna look back, and there is a very large crowd waiting to go around us here. So from here on out, I'm thinking this is going to be pretty much a defensive drive. But even though I'm in a tow of the Subaru, these guys are much quicker, so I'm instantly going onto the defense into turn 1. So we pull left, going into the hairpin, and we keep the Mercedes out. But he's now on our inside now, and he's got a much better run at a T1. And I just go, dip 2 wheels on the grass, and it's not great doing that, dirty tires, and me having, I guess, not the confidence to try and go around the outside like the Subaru did, relegates us to P4. And you can see in the radar, there's 3 people queuing up behind me, waiting for a sniff. As we go down the hill, pop-up is now on my right, so I've got to give him some space. As we go left, going onto the straight, and I'm sensing that this is going to go down here really badly. Everyone's going to probably pass me on the straight. So, we go into the tunnel here. Would you call this a tunnel? The first tunnel of the back straight. And surprisingly, pop-up gives me a bump draft going down into the hairpin. And as we get on the brakes, this corner is probably one of the worst corners for me. I'm really bad going through there. There's probably 3 corners I'm really bad at Deep Forest, and one of those really bad corners is really going to show, and it will show you why I'm really bad at it at some point. So, pop-up is once again behind us. Surprisingly, he's not going for the move again. He opts to wait. As we get on the brakes, I just go completely wide because he gave me a bump draft, and I completely forgot about that, and I was going a lot quicker. And he passed me going up the hill, so a good one, Rash, you absolute idiot. But we're going to switch to the final lap because the rest of this was kind of just following the pack in really close proximity. And you'll see I'm ahead of Pop-Up because he had a penalty, so that put him back. But now he's going on the attack once again, and we're going to the final lap. So we're across the line, and we're coming for the brakes into turn 1. And the previous lap, I was in a fight with Subaru, so we still have a chance to get P2 here if I play my cards right. Pop-Up once again is harassing us in the back, and you remember what I said? I had a couple bad corners, so this is one of mine. As we go left, and I just strike those sausages, and it makes me understeer, and I go straight on. And you know what? To avoid a crash, because I will create a pile-up, I just kind of turn into the wall, stay up off the racing line slightly, and let him pop off through. Because if I didn't, it would have been a massive crash. So yeah, P5 in the end. These guys are unrelenting and extremely consistent. So that's P5 for us, starting from P3. Once again, my qualifying is good. In the race, I tend to make a couple of really little errors, but going against fast guys, little errors amount to losing positions really quick. And this is an error. I'm in P11. I didn't even set a qualifying lap because on my qualifying lap, I was taken out by this Italian multiple times, and I just couldn't. So starting from the back, and this is an amazing race, and it'll show you how respectful and how good the racing can be. As we head off the line with belt catcher next to us, who's actually been the winner of the last 2 races. Going into turn 1. It's quite friendly, seeing as usually Trouble Mountain turn 1, everyone's making a move, and for some reason that Italia moves out of the way. I don't really know why, but he does. And once again, Trouble Mountain, usually cars with the fast at high end will dominate here, although there are a lot more corners, so we do have a chance. As the AMG spins out to the right. RIP AMG. As now we're going into the tunnel, onto the long left, which brings us onto the back straight. And you'll see the speed difference here as going into the tunnel here. We're slowly catching up, and I make the bold decision, thinking I'm in a faster car, in pulling out of the toe to try and go for a move. But now that GTR has now passed me on my right, and now we're going into the hairpin. We're 3 wide now, this isn't the last time you'll see 3 wide. And the corner or the road was kind of squeezing up, so I kind of had to back out. And we're now in P10. As I go down the hill, I make a little bit of an error and kind of outbrake myself, so I let him through. Probably with a bit too much of a gap, but I did kind of hit him, so I kind of let him go. I was thinking of messaging him, but no, I'll do that after the race because I didn't just take him out. I kind of just gave him a little tap in the brake zone. And you can see how compressed the field is at the moment as the GTR kind of makes a little mistake. But if I went for that move, I would have taken us both out because he would have turned in. So, anyways, you can see how compressed the field is ahead of us. So, the more time I'm spending back here, you're just not going to claw back that time. It's impossible to claw back that time. So, I kind of take a very safe turn 1, maybe a little too safe. As we go down the hill into the tunnel, and I don't know if you saw that belt, but the leader or the winner of the last 2 races spun out onto the right of that really fast sector 1. As you can see, Nick ahead, who's my mate, who you may remember from the masterclass series, is holding back all 4 of us gallantly with the M6. It's quite funny. As we go down into the tunnel, and we're in a similar situation, except this time I'm gonna bump draft him instead to try and keep up with this pack as we're all snaking to get the toe. And it's only lap 2, and we're already nearly 6 seconds behind the lead. So yeah, the lead is gone. We're fighting in the midfield. That's the best we're gonna get. As we hit the brakes, going into the hairpin, Porsche and GTR again are gonna keep fighting. BMW head is going to keep fighting. So this is just one big cat fight between all 5 of us for position. As I go on the inside of the GTR, I'm going to try and hold it around the outside, but because of the camber of the corner, it really favours the inside car. But somehow we actually make it work on the outside, and we are ahead of the GTR. Going into the brake zone, but he's there, so I can't turn in immediately. So he's there. I'm going to try and go for a move, but he's still there going onto the straight, and we get roughly the same exit here. But GTR is going to slowly but surely pull slowly ahead, and just like the last lap, I just have to let him through. This is a 1-line corner. If we go 2x2 here, we're going to take each other out. So I let him through, and going into the last lap, because not much happened in that one, going down the hill, the Porsche I think goes wide, giving me and the GTR a chance to close up to the back. As we go left into the tunnel, he's still wide as we pass him on exit, but he gets a much better run because of how wide he was. As we go down the hill, 3 wide going down into this corner. Still really clean and respectful. 3 wide on exit of the corner. As we go right, I back out because the space was closing. As we go down the hill, Porsche kind of pries a gap open as we get a really good launch, but I had nowhere to go as I just launched myself into the Porsche, giving him an opportunity to go for a move onto that GTR. And to be honest, I feel like that's it. There's not really much I can do. The most prime overtaking point is right ahead of us, and I'm way too far back. But the Porsche goes for a move on the inside, and I'm looking at that, so they're still battling, so there's still hope. So go out of the hairpin, and the Italia has caught up from miles back behind us. Not miles back, but quite far back, just because of the fighting we've all been doing. As we go down the hill, I'm gonna make another really stupid error and forget to shift to second. And I'm realizing, why can't I turn the car? Why am I not accelerating? And it hits me really quickly. So now I've got to go immediately onto the defensive, going down into the final chicane. As we hog the inside line, and we just get out of the Ferrari, we're gonna chop across, and GTR spins out at the final moment. So the GTR that's been holding us behind for so long finally falters on the final chicane. But you know what, P8, I don't care. I don't care about position in these races, because the racing was so good, so respectful, no one was being dirty, and everyone was so quick, and it really just showed me my pace, basically. So my qualifying pace is pretty alright, but my race pace can sometimes be a little bit inconsistent, so that's something I need to work on personally. So yeah, hopefully that was a fun watch for you guys, and just as much fun as it was for me to drive. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.